we haven't focused a hell of a lot on them. It's been more on us, which I know is a cliche, but yeah, they're still a really formidable team to play against.
Good evening and welcome to the Joust. My name is Naggy. I'm here once again with my co-host, my lemon to my lime, or my lime. Would you prefer to be lemon or lime?
I think I'd prefer to be a lime.
Yeah.
It's much more versatile.
Yeah,
Plus, lemon's generally like a derogatory thing. Like, my car's a lemon.
My car's a lemon. Yeah. You filthy limey, that
filthy
little limey that gets used for the British.
I don't want to be a lime then.
No.
I want to be associated with those imperialists.
People ask for limes a lot in bars, as you will understand, Liam. They say, can I get a slice of lime in my soda water? Lemon's almost standard. Yeah. And that's what I feel. Standard and then something special.
Now, in your bar days,
yes,
because you guys would know well, Joust, that we're degenerate hospitality workers. Were you a lime squeeze? If someone asked for lime in the drink, would you squeeze with your dirty, filthy fingers? Because I did every time.
If I managed to pick it up like a skill tester, like went straight down and then picked it up and it was just skin, and it was only skin.
Just the skin.
And it was just my two gripping skill tester fingers, and then I could squeeze it and then drop it cleanly. But still that's touching the skin into the drink.
Every week we end up coming back to wanking.
Yeah.
Just two fingers on the skin. We're sorry, Joust. This show is filthy. But Naggy, welcome back.
Thank you.
You've spent a week now. A lot of fan backlash. Apologies, Sam. They didn't want you back, but we've got you back from the Bradman Best Institute of Infrastructure over there in Bali, Naggy. What did you construct in your week in Bali?
I can tell you, I went over there, had a look at everything Bradman's doing over there, and I tell you,
wonderful stuff.
Well, there's lots of half-finished buildings, and I think that's mainly due to Bradman because he's got a full-time job here playing football, and so he goes over there, half builds about seems to be about 90 odd buildings, and then because I've got to go, boys, and then goes back and plays some football.
But look, he's doing it out of the goodness of his heart. If you're doing it out of the goodness of your heart, you're not really going to try that hard. So I love passion projects. You don't really have to try. You just be like, I love this thing I'm doing, and everyone's like, oh, great, do it. Yeah. Doesn't matter if you finish it. But you know how many unfinished business plans I have in my garage?
Yes, I do. I do.
But they're all passion projects. No one can say anything about it.
Well, it's much more exciting to start something new than it is just to continue on doing something that you're doing.
It's so boring doing something that you're doing.
Moment motivated, they call it. Yeah. So Bradman over there, moment motivated, started a lot of things.
Did you finish them though?
No, I just looked. So I walked around the sites and said, "No, boys."
Clipboard and everything.
I said, "Bradman,
do they have clipboards over there?"
Possibly. They're definitely. I would describe that area as more analog than digital. And I just said, "Don't worry, boys. Bradman will be back soon." And they nodded. And
as long as he gets there early, otherwise the Germans ever will put their towels out on the sun lounge.
There was some Germans. They're a very territorial bunch. Out of character for those folks.
Yeah. You give them a sun lounge, and next thing you know, they're taking Czechoslovakia.
It all started with the sun lounge. They wanted more sun. No, I had a lovely time, but it is wonderful to be back.
It's wonderful to have you
in my home of this chair. This is where I sleep every night.
Funnily enough, a chair whittled by Bradman Best.
Yes.
What can't the man do?
I did miss out on something that I love doing, and that's why I wasn't there for a Newcastle Knights game when we beat St George. I wasn't there. That's where I was over there, overseas, or at least one sea, over a lot of land and some water. But I couldn't be at the Wickham Park Hotel, Liam.
And nor could I, unfortunately. Nor could I.
And that's something that we certainly have to rectify. And you can rectify as well if you make your way to Wickham Park Hotel to watch any sort of sport, but especially rugby league, and especially the Newcastle Knights playing rugby league.
And especially if you're hungry, you can get yourselves a nice Joust burger, ladies and gentlemen. And the thing I appreciate about the Wickham Park is I don't like dishonesty in advertising. I don't like it.
No.
I don't like it. And on the way, Jess, you might not know this, but on the way to the Wickham Park Hotel where we record there in the Gents, I drove past a motel.
You did?
I drove past a motel. It's on the highway. It's at the top of Charlestown. It's almost in the middle of Charlestown Square. It's called the Surf Beach Motel.
Now, that doesn't seem like right sort of advertising.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't seem... It seems wrong. It seems incorrect. If anything, the ACCC should be involved. But you know who's not lying in advertising?
What?
Wickham Park Hotel. Hotel.
Because it is right by Wickham Park.
The adjacency is important to the honesty of the messaging.
Charlestown's nowhere near a surf or a beach.
It's neither.
If you arrive there and you say, "Where's the beach?" They say, "It's over there."
Where's the surf? It's even further over there. It's out past the beach.
Down past the mountain that we're on.
You got to go to the beach and you got to go past the beach to get to the surf.
Everyone that goes there, they're issued with a set of binoculars and a ladder, and they say, "There it is." Surf Beach Hotel, Charlestown. I'm sure it's a wonderful establishment.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah.
Of course. But covering all the dishonest advertisers, it's time for the news. A lot happening in the news this week, as always with rugby league, but something very special coming up, Liam. It sort of takes a large part of your heart.
It does. Now, as Australians, we're very proud of the men and women who have served in our defence forces over the years, except for the Nazis. There's been a couple of them in the Australian Army, so not them. We don't like them, but the rest of the good, honest men and women who serve in our defence forces are rightly being honoured with Anzac Round, which we love and we appreciate. And it's always fun to see the jerseys for Anzac Round. You know, you see it come out, and certain clubs that we won't name just cut and paste the first picture of a soldier they see on the internet.
I forgot about that.
Not the Newcastle Knights.
No.
What the Newcastle Knights have done is taken something that is integral to Newcastle, integral to who we are as a people and what we do here. They have taken the arguably, and you know, some of you may disagree with me, arguably the most monolithic and incredible defence project of all time that Australia's been a part of in the F-35 Lightning Joint Strike Fighter. And you'll see on the jersey there, which I wish they'd dialed the colours up a bit, you'll see it flying over Newcastle there. As you can see, it's a beautiful thing. It's a wonderful aircraft.
Yes.
Easily the most advanced thing in the sky. And
right.
I think really points to the fact that in Australia we have not an enormous Air Force, but it's a very boutique, high-end Air Force.
Okay.
The equipment that we have is really quite good.
Boutique, I always think old. Is that not? It's not an old
boutique.
aircraft.
I tend to think it's a bit higher end. You know, a boutique. You buy the
Bougie.
fancy stuff off the top shelf, which we've gone and done with the F-35.
Looks smooth.
It is smooth. Yeah. Well, you see, that's all, of course, to reduce the radar cross section. So it's very, very stealthy aircraft. Australia's got 72 on order. There was talks of ordering another 24.
Okay.
Whether we do or not, we don't know. There'll be a white paper looking into it. But I personally love the Fat Amy, and I'm really glad that it's on the front of the jersey of the Newcastle Knights and representing the RAF base at Williamtown, which is such an integral part of Newcastle.
RAAF.
Yes.
Yeah, we get an extra A because of Australia.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but the British still call it the RAF.
Yeah.
There's one A.
Yeah, we don't care for them.
Maybe it's the RAF.
Sure, why not?
I'm going to be beaten to death by some Air Forcemen on my way home. There's something else happening with the Rabbitohs. Rabbitohs continue their spiral into
what did we say? It's South Sydney. Strife in South Sydney.
Yeah.
The death spiral continues now. Rabbitohs have made a brutal call. They made a brutal call. There was a call last week that was going to be brutal with the appointment of Mal Meninga. James Hooper, I believe, said it was a done deal.
Yes.
But the South Sydney power brokers have said that no, we're going to give Dimitri, a stay of execution?
That's what
I think they say.
Do it. Yeah. It's like he's
in the cell on death row. They're just like, no, you'll be all right.
He's been
another week.
He's been marched there, and the phone keeps ringing, and they return him back to the cell. And he's like, eventually that phone's going to stop ringing.
It's going to stop ringing. But for the time being, it's going to keep ringing, and we're going to derive joy from not being in strife. We're not the team in strife anymore.
Yeah, well, they might be trying to really make sure that, because if a new coach comes in and then also fails, they go, oh, actually, Jason Demetrio wasn't doing that bad of a job.
Yeah.
But if
maybe he wasn't the problem after all.
But now, if they let him sort of continue to fail up until absolute failure, that's what they call it when you really fail. Failship. And
like the Titanic.
Like the fail ship.
The ultimate failship
it's
itself.
Still brought up today how big of a failure it was. But if they let him hit the iceberg and go down, and then anyone else that comes in has to be doing a better job.
That's it. Spielberg will make a movie about it. It'll be amazing. But what we have learned, Joust, is through our inside sources, the Mal Meninga approach. Now, the Mal Meninga approach was not even from the South Sydney Rugby League club.
No.
It was from a millionaire art investor named Nicky Stanicki.
Well,
I think we have a picture of Nicky Stanicki.
Nicky right there, yeah.
Sorry, that's Ongo Gablogian, his colleague in the art dealership world. But now, Naggy, if you were a prominent art dealer named
Nicky
Andre Stalenki.
Yes.
What would you do if you were to approach a coach for South Sydney? Who would you go for?
Well, they've just, I don't know if Mal Meninga is going to be the first choice of my mind.
Nor your second, third, fourth, fifth, or sixth.
Considering he has never actually coached a team of the Newcastle Knights before, of the NRL caliber before.
No.
He's only coached representative sides where they've been picked for him, and then they've been the best of the best. And you can see there his record is second to none.
But all he had to do on those great Queensland teams, he just went out and he put the hats out. He put out the witches' hats, and then he ducked over to the pub.
They can run themselves.
Cameron Smith ran the session. Or was it Michael Hagan was the man behind the buttons, I think?
He was
Wasn't
there.
He? He was the assistant coach. He said, Mal, lay out the witches' hats and then you can go to the pub.
Yeah.
And Mal said, thank you very much, $1 million a year. I'm very happy about this.
But he's arguably coached, considered one of the best representative teams of all time.
I don't think it's arguable at all.
It probably is the best. And then they were like, no, he's going to coach Australia, which is the best of the best team players available from the country. And then they were like, no, we're going to give him the Gold Coast Titans and see what we can do with that.
Leader of culture.
No, not the Gold Coast Titans at all. The South Sydney Rabbitohs.
Now remember, he was at the Titans, employed as the
people and culture.
Leader of culture.
Something like that.
And I think Gordon Tallis, who was involved with the club, came out and he's like, I've never seen Mal at training.
It's because he gets there after the witches' hats are put out.
That's exactly.
The witches' hats
already there. He just leaves.
He just says, my job's for the other day.
But look, if there's anything that Mal has done that's particularly notable is that when he, went into politics, he quit his political career after 28 seconds. Demetriou's beaten it.
Yes.
He left the press conference after 27.
That's all he lasted.
Oh, my goodness me. Naggy, if you were a coach and you went out to a press conference and you knew your job was on the line and you had to put forward a strong case as to why they should retain you and why they shouldn't replace you with a man who's been largely irrelevant over the last couple of decades, how long would you spend at the microphone?
Well, you needed enough time to present yourself as because basically you're speaking to the wider audience. You're speaking to the media, get the media on side. People say, "Gee, he's done a good job there," and they tap the South Sydney who's who on the shoulder, and they say, "Russell, maybe keep him on. He seems like a good fella." But no, he took a different approach and said, "I'm going to answer 3.5 questions and simply walk away," and said, "I'm excited about coaching this week." Very to the point. Yeah. Got there, didn't muck around. Quite often meetings are the only thing decided in a meeting is when the next meeting's going to be.
Yes.
So the
only thing he decided in the press conference is when his next coaching job's going to be. Next week.
Next week. That's all you need.
But I say I admire brevity.
Yes.
I admire it. I think it's good. I think if you're there to make a statement, get out, make your statement, and bugger off. So I say, well done, Jason Demetriou. Stick it to the power brokers, buddy.
Enough of this business talk.
Oh, business talk. We don't
speak English. We're not moving forward to circle back.
Synergy.
Synergy.
Yeah, synergy. That's a great buzzword, isn't it? Great buzzword.
Now, it wasn't all just... we had incredible games of football.
As we always do.
A whole round of incredible games. But there was one that had the most controversy. These two old, sort of haggard coaches at each other's throats.
Very, how to put it? Psychopathic men. Two men with several screws loose. They've got half of Bunnings rattling around in their head, and someone said, let's let them coach rugby league. And more importantly, let's let them talk for longer than Jason Demetriou after a game of rugby league, and fireworks ensued.
Des Hasler under a bit of pressure there at the time.
Former teammate of Gregor McNeil. Played in the halves at the Australian Catholic University.
And then...
Des was the worst of the two halves.
Often, very centered and calm man, Ricky Stewart. And then had a few little, I was going to say, jousts at each other, very possibly, very little jabs at each other. I think is a better turn of phrase.
Well, no, I would say they were throwing, lances so powerfully, it was like a joust. These weren't jabs.
He said he's on
trying to stab each other while riding the backs of horses.
Basically, one accused the other one of cheating, the other one told the other one to fuck off, and then he threatened, if you want cheating, I'll give you cheating, which is sort of ironic, I think.
See, this is why we love the game of rugby league. Yes. We love rugby league because things like this don't happen in other sports. No. Things like this, people like this are not allowed to be in charge in other sports.
Professional sports doesn't happen.
Professionalism is only a term used loosely when it comes to rugby league administration and coaching.
When you put amateur sports on television, this is exactly what happens.
Oh, absolutely. I think it's great to see. I think it's great for the game. I think it's wonderful for, the new fans to the game to see just what they're getting into.
Yes.
If you watch your first ever game of rugby league and it happened to be that game, and then you watch your first rugby league press conferences, and it happened to be those two press conferences.
Wonderful.
You're a fan for life.
The game, I'm in. The content just keeps going. Yeah,
that's it.
It's a wonderful
Days
soap
of our
opera.
lives, never watching it in. I've got all the soap opera I need here in the space of about 3 hours.
Certainly the biggest characters. There was an interesting move by the Gold Coast Titans. If you remember, cast your mind back to 2023.
Why do you always ask me to cast my mind back? I never know where it goes.
Justin Holbrook was the coach of the Gold Coast Titans and former Newcastle Knight, Justin Holbrook. And he was, I believe, after 6 rounds, might have been after 7, but there was 3 wins, a draw, and a couple of losses there. 6 weeks later, he's out of a job. Why was he out of a job? Because Des Haller's coming to town, and he's got to take it. And they put Des in, 6 rounds, no wins.
Moneyball Des, they call him. That's I think it's safe to say that 6 rounds with no wins is worse than several wins.
3 and a bit.
Justin Holbrook had.
They were coming eighth when he was sacked.
It was like when the Panthers fired Hook Griffin when they were coming 4th.
Yes,
that worked out pretty good though.
Then that
did work out.
I have heard someone call the Titans Disneyland because I tell you what,
that's a good one.
It's farcical. That's what it is. It's farcical.
Plus that's where all the theme parks are. If there was going to be a Disneyland in Australia, arguably it would be on the Gold Coast.
That's true. There's quite a few of them.
Yeah.
There's something to do with the Panthers and one of the Mays. Now, Liam, you to inform me that there's more than one May.
Oh, there's several of them, and they're all troublemakers. You know, and not the fun like troublemakers, like actual bad troublemakers. But Taylor May, the young one, the boy, the baby boy, he was hiring a car from a vehicle rental company, and they rent out higher end cars. I think he was in an Audi R8, which some would know as a very, very good sports car.
Yes,
I don't know. Audi sounds German. I don't trust it. But he posted a video, and this is another thing we love about rugby league.
Yes,
is when players post videos of themselves committing crimes.
You can take
He posted a video of him travelling on his own Instagram 90 kilometres per hour in a residential zone.
In a car that doesn't belong to him.
No, in a car that doesn't belong to him, doing, I believe, if my maths are correct, 40 kilometres over the speed limit.
Yes.
Now, one passenger in the vehicle was quoted, and this is, pretty hard-hitting quote, as holy moly, brah.
Yeah. You can really sense what's going on inside the car.
Yeah, that really kind of sums up the energy of the vehicle. Holy moly, brah.
An interesting move by is Thailand, isn't he? Thailand.
Yeah.
Thailand's another brother, I'm sure. But is he the one with the neck tattoo or is not?
Yeah, I think he is, yeah.
The same one?
I don't know if you saw this, Joust, he put out a selfie with his new neck tattoo on his neck, and no one knows why. It says yam.
No, although yam, yes.
It says yam. So it's a strange decision to make, but well done, Taylor, for, continuing that long line of great rugby league people committing crimes and then putting it on the internet. Don't you love it? Again, only in rugby league do you get these things.
Who was the guy that was DUI, but then he dobbed himself and he phoned the police?
Josh Papali'i.
Yeah,
he called the cops on himself, which is an honourable move.
Yeah.
Then, of course, there was the great Liam Knight scandal where he sprayed Aerogard in his mouth.
Oh, to avoid the breath. I thought that was Todd Carney.
No. He sprayed Aerogard in his mouth thinking it would fool the breathalyzer.
Yes.
No, Todd Carney was involved in a high-speed chase.
But then he ran.
Got out, legged it, and told his teammate Steve Irwin to take the fall. And Steve Irwin got fired from Canberra. Todd Carney didn't.
Well,
then there was Conrad Hurrell, filmed himself copping dome from some Sheila from the New Zealand Sporting Press, put that on Snapchat. Rugby league players and cars. What a wonderful combination, especially when paired with social media. They just do it to themselves. It's hilarious.
We can't mention on this family show, of course, I was going to say Reg Gasnier, but of course his nephew, Mark Gasnier.
The infamous telephone call. Yeah. Which, in light of what we now know rugby league players do in their spare time, it's taken on a bit of a darker tone.
It does.
Yeah.
Or maybe
it's not as playful as it once was.
Never seen more of it.
Yeah. Just give them all bicycles. It's that easy. Just give them bikes.
Just say you're not allowed in cars.
Yeah, you're not allowed in cars.
Oh, you still can't ride bikes around when you're pissed.
Well, Brad Fittler once turned up to Penrith training, riding a dirt bike with no shoes, and Gus Gould sent him home.
Well, it's dangerous. Get caught in the gears.
Oh, rugby league. It's just the game that keeps on giving. It keeps on giving.
Now, we've got the Manly player, Josh Schuster, fat. He's been told to turf it. And then... Is that what's happened?
I believe that's the exact quote, Naggy, from Manly CEO Scott Penn. He's a bit fat, so we turfed him.
Can we say that he's like probably a bigger 5'8" than you, but he's not like
he's husky.
He's husky. He's not doesn't look particularly overweight.
He's
but
broad.
Then we've got the fattest men on the internet, as well as all broadcast television, telling him to lose weight. And I think he's probably not that far off the mark.
Now, And there was talks that there were what we call in the industry performance clauses in his contract.
Yeah.
Naggy, if you had a performance clause at your job, what would that entail? What are you not allowed to do, or what do you need to be not bad at?
You might have noticed that it doesn't include weight gain because otherwise I would have been out of a job years ago. But I have a bit of a question as far as he's gotten these two things have been jammed together. They say he's on three things really. He's on a lot of money, $800,000. And then they've said
this economy,
they said
cost of living crisis, that wouldn't get you a donut. No, you go to Donut King, you're not getting change.
He's a bit fat, and then everyone calls him lazy in the next breath. So he's fat, lazy, and rich.
Isn't that the Australian dream?
Yeah, that's what I thought. But no one wants to touch him now. He's 24 years old. Surely someone could pop him on a treadmill for 6 minutes and then get him out there. But apparently it's the curse of the high price tag. You see, too bougie.
Yeah,
he's like the plane.
He's a boutique player.
He's a boutique player.
He's a boutique player.
But he's not. Surely he's not that far. Everyone goes. He's talented, but a bit fat and lazy.
He's got a lot to give. He's got a lot to offer, and under the right coach, perhaps.
Everyone just says take him to the Storm like the Storm's some fat camp, you know? Apparently no other NRL team is capable. Everyone's like, maybe you should go to St. George. No, they won't be able to get his weight down. What are they doing at these clubs?
Well, we learned last week that the Melbourne Storm have taken the biggest player in the NRL, Nelson Asafa-Solomona, and somehow made him bigger. Yeah. That was last week's headline. Big man is fat now.
What's happening?
Well, you can't make it up. Who is writing these articles?
Can't they just put... they pay, like boot camps and things like that, and they take the whole team away.
Did them.
Can't they just go, we're going to pay another boot camp. We're not sending 30 blokes. We're just sending one.
But it'd save a lot of money.
Come back in 2 weeks. Yeah. You've trimmed down. Yeah. I don't see the problem.
Not a problem there. It's easy.
Is it just the money? If he was on 150K, would he still be in the Manly side?
No.
Okay.
I don't know. Perhaps.
He was playing 5'8".
I'm not Scott Penn. I'm not one of the power brokers over there.
He was playing 5'8" last year, wasn't he?
Well, of course, he contrasts very much with Luke Brooks, notably a small man.
Small man, fit.
So he's got a small man, big man type thing.
He's done that because he was gifted a very, very small barbecue. And that keeps his portion size down. He can only fit 2 snags in there. And he knows I can't have any more.
Well, they've gone and gifted Josh Schuster apparently an enormous smoker that could fill the whole backside of a barn.
Yes, of course.
So Luke Brooks gets his tiny barbecue. Josh Schuster's got an enormous smoker built out of an old semi-trailer.
Yes, exactly right. Smoke,
just pounding brisket down every day.
Smoke bellowing everywhere. It's like a schmelter. Before we jump into everything Newcastle Knights, there's a couple of 2 nights and a former night here, and the unusual suspects of the people that I just noticed have scored quite a few tries this year.
It's always great to see non-traditional try scorers achieving great feats of try scoring.
Yeah.
Now, 3 tries for Adam Elliott may not seem like many, but for Adam Elliott over the course of 6 rounds, that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
That is half of 1 try per game.
If you had told me before the season starts that Kyle Flanagan, playing 5'8" for the Dragons, would score 3 tries, I'd say you're mad.
I think if you told me Kyle Flanagan would be playing first grade, I'd have told you you're mad.
Well, also Danny Levi, someone that has also spent some time recently in
one of Brownie's boys.
Reserve grade, yeah, and then now he's scored 4 tries this season.
People who are funnier than we are, when he scored his 3rd try, referred to him as Danny 3-Vibe.
It didn't last long because he scored a 4th.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
Brief time in the sun. Very brief. And then, of course, our Jackson Hastings. 3 tries. Gentlemanly 3 tries.
Gentlemanly 3, and then the fellow on the far left. I can't. The guy from the Warriors. Ford.
Jackson Ford.
Jackson Ford.
That's a good name.
We've got 2 Jacksons on there.
2 Jacksons. Jackson Ford.
Jackson.
Sounds like a cowboy. Jackson Ford.
Well, it does. A strong name. We'll be right back for the second half of the Joust. We're covering everything the Newcastle Knights. Delicious Joust burger available for $15 on game day, Liam.
And look how quickly Sam ate that burger.
He nailed it.
It was there one moment, gone the next. Poof.
Yeah, that's how good
Can I say that?
Yeah, well, we've gotten away with it.
Sorry. Whoosh.
Whoosh.
Whoosh. The burger was gone.
Yeah.
And that's what it'll happen when you go to the Wickham Park Hotel. They put the food in front of you, you just whoosh it down.
Yeah.
Just jam it down your gullet.
Yes, you don't poof it down.
No.
So more of a sound when it's coming out.
And we've devolved into silliness yet again.
Yes.
But I guess anything to prevent talking about this game, Naggy, since it's full time.
Yeah.
It's full time the other night. What night was that?
Well, you
Thursday.
thought you were wearing your lucky hat.
Well, I got just as you know, I love hats. For those watching in the visual medium, I got a lovely new hat. It's a Newcastle Knights corduroy hat.
Yes.
I've had an eye on it for a long while. It was out of stock. Came in the mail. I thought, great. I think I've got a new lucky hat. I thought, whoa,
It's very nice.
What better way to christen a lucky hat than by watching the Knights win in lucky circumstances? I think I'm going to throw it in the bin.
Yes.
It provided nothing but pain and hatred and fury. I'm untethered and my rage knows no bounds. I don't know since full time of that game whether I wanted to talk about it or whether I didn't. And I've been torn in between that all friggin' damn shit couple of days.
Yes.
It's been a bad time, Jousters. I'm furious. How are you, Naggy?
It's all right. It's almost 9 o'clock. You can say fuck.
Fuck. I don't like it. It was terrible. It was infuriating.
Look, it was a game that when I came back from Bali, Belay, actually they call it over there, Belay. No, I got back.
You reckon Bradman girls at Bali?
Yeah, Bali. Yeah,
I'm
out
going to
Bali. I got back really early in the day. It was red eye that I came back on, and then I slept, and then I woke up. I thought, hang on a second, it's Thursday. The game's on. And I thought, fantastic. And I watched it and was gripped. I said, this is great. In the first 10 minutes, Lynn.
What a wonderful first 10 minutes it was. I was looking forward to talking about that.
So excited.
Yeah, I was very excited to talk about the first 10 minutes.
Jackson Hastings, dummy and go.
Then 70 minutes happened.
Yeah.
10 minutes were great and 70 minutes were pain and fury and like I was having a hot poker jabbed up me bum.
Yeah, it was straight up there.
Yeah.
And it was Jackson Hastings, of course, not the fastest man, but he makes it look easy when he dummies and goes. And obviously goes over for a try. Kalen Ponga converts because he's 100% conversion rate.
Thank you very much, Mark Tukey.
Mate, Mark Tukey.
Well done,
Tukey. Wonderful job there.
He's done a wonderful job with Kalen and Dane Gagai, our very own. He, of course, kicked 2 from 2.
Yeah, he's got two
So I
proteges.
think, two proteges.
Yeah.
Two proteges.
It's glad Mark Tukey sort of got out of the game before the Josh Schuster clause of fitness and folds.
Stanley would have paid him $1.1 million.
Yeah, but if they only knew how well he could kick.
Yeah.
He's so athletic.
Usually,
Yeah.
in chronology,
yes.
usually you would talk about a thing at the beginning, and you've started obviously with the first 10 minutes.
I did.
But I've been waiting to talk about the last 10 minutes.
Sure.
Because those were the 10 minutes that boiled my blood, Naggy. We'll get into all the other nonsense that didn't matter.
The other 60,
because the last couple of minutes, you correct me if I'm wrong, Jess, am I wrong saying that it was a farce? What happened in the last few minutes of the rugby league game between the Newcastle Knights and the Sydney Roosters was a farce. It was Bernard Sutton, known coward, making cowardly decisions and acting in the way that a coward would. Because you know what happened last week? Trent Robinson had a sook and Bernard Sutton,
No.
I don't want to raise the ire of Trent Robinson this week.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what a coward would do.
Retreat.
He retreated and he decided not to make a controversial call. Instead, he made no call.
He made no call
Which
at
is
all.
the worst call you could make in a controversial moment when the game is on the line, when rugby league is happening.
It does.
It happens. Sometimes it stops happening, but you have to let it stop happening. He didn't let it stop happening.
You know what they say about genocide? It's when good men do nothing. All right? But he's not a good man.
He's not a good man.
Not at all.
And he still did nothing.
Genocide.
Like double genocide. It's when bad men do nothing. But anyway, look, I'm going to break it down.
Yes.
Because after the game finished, we had family friends over for dinner. I excused myself to watch the footy game.
Yes.
And after the game, after full time, there was dead silence in the living room, and Mum came in. She said, "Are you all right, Liam?" I said, No. And so she got me a piece of lemon tart with ice cream, which was nice. But then after another 10 minutes of deathly silence, Brittany came in and she said, "Liam,
your darling wife,
my darling wife." She came in. Liam, our guests have come from Germany to see us.
Yes.
Are you going to come back to the dining table? And I just kind of shrugged.
I
did go back like an hour later.
A broken man.
Yeah, I was a shattered man. Because if you look at the lead up to the Sydney Roosters the try, the late try that Sydney Roosters scored, what you'll note...
The Daniel Tupou.
No, whomever it was, I don't know. I blocked it all out. What you'll note is that there was what was not deemed to be a knock-on. Now, if we see the play... He knocks the ball into the ground. Now, 99 times out of 100 times, that's called a knock-on, but not today. Not on Thursday. You know why?
Yes.
Cowardice.
Cowardice.
And then there was a very, very questionable pass from Terrell May to Victor Radley. No call.
Yep.
Cowardice. Absolute cowardice.
Yes, I'm seeing a pattern here.
I'm seeing a pattern. And then, of course, we have the Kalen Ponga break, the greatest player in rugby league. Of course, you give him the ball. He makes a break. Everything's fantastic. It's all wonderful. He's tackled. He's held. The ball-carrying arm hits the ground. And yet there's a second effort. But what does Graham Annesley say in the press conference? He said Kalen Ponga had the opportunity to get an offload, so the play hadn't finished. The ball carrying arm had touched the ground.
It did.
That is held in every game of rugby league ever since the rule where the ball carrying arm touches the ground is held. Every single time, but not this time.
Rugby league genocide.
Rugby league genocide is what happened, and then there was the second effort, and then, to be fair, after that, there were some pretty boneheaded plays from the Knights. There was the Brayley kick, which led to nothing. Where was the support runners around Kalen Ponga? We can't only blame Bernard Sutton. I will apportion a large part of the blame.
Looking at those final moments, the support runners around Adam Elliott as well.
Yeah, there was no one. Adam Elliott, he's known for getting a sneaky offload away, but you raised an interesting point, Naggy, when we were discussing the game after you'd watched it upon your return from the Bradman Best Institute of Infrastructure.
Yes.
The Knights didn't deserve to win.
Well, I didn't.
A very fair comment.
I may have not said those exact words.
Well, anyway,
I said they're not known for their clutch plays, and
True.
I believe the majority, like the meat of the game, I thought the Roosters did enough to win.
Yeah.
We could have stolen it off them, but we're not really known for that.
Yeah, well, in anticipation of the show, I kind of created my own thought of what you said, so I could expound upon it.
Yeah.
So you said in my brain,
Yeah.
the Knights didn't deserve to win the game, which is a fair comment. But so what? And I'm not saying that if that call's made, absolutely the Knights win, we deserve to win. But the Knights deserved a chance to win based on what happened in the situation of the rugby league game at the time.
I do.
Graham Annesley said, "Oh no. They wouldn't have won. It would have just been a 6 again. Give us the 6 again."
Yes.
Then we don't have the boneheaded play of Jaden Brayley doing the stupid kick on the goal line.
That's right.
We have an entire 4 more tackles.
30 seconds. Could do what
Coward.
we like. Yeah.
Cowardly. And Graham Annesley covering up cowardice.
We don't want better refs. We want brave refs.
Brave refs.
Yeah.
I want a ref who's got the gumption
Yes.
to make a call when a call needs to be made. Then we can challenge the call. That's not cowardice. That's a brave man saying, I think this is what happened.
Yep.
You may disagree, and you get that chance to disagree. Instead, he said, he threw his hands up.
Can I also bring up a point, Liam, that we haven't discussed? And then I think that when there is late in the game, quite often teams hold on to their challenges.
Yeah.
When one's thrown away by the Newcastle Knights, it is basically...
Oh, they threw away the challenge. Oh, that rules out.
No, they didn't. They
still had the challenge.
It was the Roosters threw away their challenge, but other teams, when they're playing the Knights, seem to go for the ball. It's hands on the ball the whole time because they just think, well, if they knock it on, the ref might call it a knock on. No challenge. Thank you very much for the ball.
Yeah.
It's almost like a switch goes, challenge is off, and then they go, let's just get our hands all in the ruck, like we're kneading dough. And then, but for the Knights, the other team loses their challenge, and the Knights go, let's play exactly the way what we usually play. Now, you might say that's within the spirit of the game.
And we do love the spirit of the game. We love the spirit of the game.
The spirit of the game and also gamesmanship sort of goes hand in hand. But then if you look at the...
Two sides of the same coin, perhaps.
If you look at the Dane Gagai no try...
Oh, and look at it, I did.
Luke Keary falling on his backside after a mere bump from Dylan Lucas, possibly running towards Dylan Lucas, and people say, I don't know, that might have been a bit of gamesmanship.
I'd say absolutely it was gamesmanship.
But also not within the spirit.
No, not within the spirit. Gamesmanship, but not within the spirit. Gamesmanship is allowed within the spirit of rugby league. The other thing as well that Graham Annesley cowardly pointed out was the Roosters were particularly slowing the ruck of the Knights in the last few minutes. Now, Graham Annesley, he came out, he had his statistics. He said, this is the average play the ball speed in the game. You'll see the average play the ball speed across the game was actually faster than it usually was. We're not talking about across the game, Graham.
No, we're talking about the last 10 minutes.
The last 10 minutes, Graham, is what matters. 10 minutes in rugby league is like a lifetime. It's like 10 minutes in real life. A lifetime.
I did feel it's like 10 minutes when you're waiting somewhere.
Yeah.
The doctor will see you in 10 minutes and you think, well, this is, what else am I going to do?
But then it's the opposite. It's like if you've got 10 minutes before you have to go somewhere, I sit down for 10 minutes, put your bum on the seat and bam, I've got to get in the car.
Straight away.
It's terrible.
Uber's already out the front.
Time's a flat circle. Who knows? Am I overreacting, Naggy?
Sometimes I think that the clock has faster periods of 20 minutes than others. Because I think if you're going to go leave somewhere at 20 to 12, slightly unrelated, but bear with me. So 20. If something's 20 minutes to 12 and you have to leave at 12, that's what I call a long 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? Sometimes 20 minutes to 12 o'clock to 20 past. Slightly faster, but I reckon the fastest 20 minutes is from 20 past to 22. That's about 12 minutes long.
See,
that 20 minutes, gravity swings the arm of the clock around so quickly that it goes bang.
And then the other side of it, time's it's a man-made construct.
It is. It doesn't exist.
I've never seen a dolphin look at another dolphin, so I'll be here in half an hour.
No,
they just are there when they're there.
They're
not there when they're not. They are there when they are. They have no concept of time.
Dolphins have no concept.
Dolphins have no. But if dolphins were in the NRL, you get a better bloody result than what we got.
I tell you what, it was a very disappointing game, but at the same time, slightly un-Knightsy.
Infuriating.
I did mention the Knights don't really have a clutch play in them. We're not known for these sort of golden point moments. Probably not since round 1 2018 when we kicked the
Mitchell Pearce field goal against Manly in his very first game. That was the last good thing the Knights ever did for us.
Clutchless play for all. That's a Burgess catchphrase there on the screen.
What a great show that was. I love Baby John Burgess.
Baby John.
He was like that great. The great uncle you rarely see, but whenever he turns up to the family events, he's got his suit and tie, cracking jokes.
He used to have a moustache.
He's always hitting on the other family's grandmother.
Oh, yeah. Charming bloke.
Charming. Great follow on Twitter, too. He's a ripper to follow on Twitter. He's got a joke of the day every day.
Oh, really?
They're exactly the kind of jokes you'd expect Baby John Burgess to make.
Is he still alive?
He tweets every day.
Okay.
Oh, that's just what I need to calm me down. A bit of Baby John Burgess talk.
Better Baby John.
Baby John.
But I don't clutch play, but we did manage to do two things. Both times before
Rugby and league.
Two
things.
3 minutes before half time, we decided to score a try, which is not known for. We usually concede a try.
That was the old,
that
was the relics of Brownie, remember? We'd always concede before half time and then get a bunch of still knocks into them at half time.
And then we were quite far behind, but then we brought ourselves back into the game by scoring just before full time and then making it a bit of a game. So there's two quite exciting moments, which we're not known for, but we still had no clutch play. We couldn't actually seal the deal, and it was very, very difficult. Excuse me, my voice just went twice. Hopefully it doesn't fail me again. Things to like about the game, Liam. I do like we've now moved away from the Phoenix Crossland playing 60 minutes and bring Jaden Brayley on for a short stint. We now reverse the reverse Brayley Crossland. And now he's playing 60-ish minutes and then
Brosland.
Crossland's Phoenix Crossfield.
That's what we can call them. Brosland. You know, like you had Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez. Bennifer. You got Brosland.
Yeah. I'm heating up, Liam. This is so exciting.
It's all the flames leaping out of my mouth.
I like Phoenix because he does bring something to defense.
Exuberance. I think is what he brings.
I think he can,
joy. Excitement.
He can bring excitement.
Yeah.
He's good in defense. He does rush up in defense. He's not just someone there as a smaller man.
Reminds me of Faf du Plessis from South Africa.
Yes.
He's not a large man. He's got long, beautiful blonde hair, and he just runs out of the line like a psychopath.
You're talking
Faf du Plessis.
No, that's the cricketer you're talking about. Is there another Faf du Plessis?
No.
Okay. You're talking about Duplessis from the rugby team.
Yeah. It's South Africa. There's 4 names.
There's definitely a Faf Duplessis that you're referring to.
Could you look up, please, Sam? Springboks halfback. Yeah, it's South Africa. There's 4 names. They're all Duplessis, Bothas, or like burgers.
Yes.
That's it. There's only 4 of them.
That's all there is.
It's Faf de Klerk. I was way off. Yeah, Faf de Klerk.
Faf de Klerk.
Bismarck Duplessis is the greatest name in sporting history.
Yeah.
He's named after one of the capital battleships of the Kriegsmarine in World War II.
Yeah.
What's scarier than that?
No, pretty scary.
Imagine a bloke running at you like he's got friggin' 6 13-inch guns on his deck.
They sunk that, though, didn't they?
Oh, very easily.
Yeah.
They got rid of it. They dispatched it quite promptly. They went on one famous raid and they sunk it, and everyone in the world thought the Germans had the best battleships. They did not.
No.
They had one, and it was built under the Washington Treaty, so it wasn't even a real battleship. It was a pocket battleship. Anything to not talk about this game.
Yeah. So, no,
anything.
Quickly to go back, there was a few heroes amongst the losing bunch. There was a period there when Caelan Ponga looked like he was a wounded animal, struggling for life. And they said, put him out of his misery, put the blanket up. Fire the gun. Take him. But no one expected him to come back. But then obviously they've injected him with something magical, and he came back and tried his guts out.
What a rugby league player.
That's my hats off for this week is Caelan Ponga.
What a rugby league player. He's the kind of guy you want in the big moments. You want him to have the ball. So what happens? It's a big moment. We give him the ball. He breaks the game open. He breaks the game apart.
If only we had 2 of them. If we had 2 of him, he could have passed to himself and scored.
If we had 2 of them, my erection would never subside and I'd die.
But someone
I couldn't live with 2 Caelan Pongas in my life. It'd be terrible.
Someone that's making you very excited this year is another KP, but with an extra
KP.
P.
KPP.
Yeah.
Now, this young fella, and I've talked about this all season, I love the way that he's developing in the National Rugby League. He's still young. He's very new to the Australian game, which, as we know, is vastly different to the English game because it's actually good, whereas the English game is still notably 15 to 20 years behind.
It is.
But he's developing his game on foundational basics.
Yeah.
He's doing the important stuff well. He's got a whole bag of tricks that he hasn't even brought out.
No.
So I'm incredibly excited to see once he has a good solid footing of strong foundational rugby league under his belt.
Good honest.
Start going nuts.
Yes.
Going nuts. He made a nice line break there. I think he got an offload that worked.
13 runs, 153 metres,
Yeah.
66 post contact.
He's a
line
powerful
break.
boy. He's
Yeah.
very, very good.
Bunch of tackles.
Yeah, plenty of them.
Yeah.
All good too. All good.
Yeah.
I think we've also got to give a notable nod to Bradman Best.
Yes.
If it wasn't for Joseph Manu, we'd be marvelling at the 274 metres he ran for.
Yeah, a lot. A bit of the best battering ram he's developing into. And
He ran 100 metres after being contacted by other players.
Yeah.
That's a full 100. Like, imagine Usain Bolt running a 9,300 while constantly being battered by large men's shoulders.
We said,
That's what Bradman Best did.
You've got to try to run the 100,
Yeah.
Usain, but now there's 13 men trying to stop you.
Yeah.
It's going to be a vastly different time.
And he couldn't even make it in soccer, with 11 men trying to stop him by dancing at him.
Oh, he kicked goal once for Central Coast Mariners.
Oh, no one gives a shit about that anyway.
It was.
If that's one thing we can take away from a disappointing rugby league is that the A-League's bound to fail, and we'll stop having to care about that dumb sport.
When we take our hats off, Liam, we must return them to a head.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, this week is for Dane Gagai. Purely for the missed tackles. There was quite a few of them, and just a couple of decisions there. Sometimes I wish Dane was just a bit less Dane and a little bit more Gagai.
But with all the good Gagai we've had this season, you're bound to have an older fella who's a bit of an up and down player, more up than down. He's been very good this year, but we're going to get the down.
We've got to get the down.
He's old.
He's getting old. He's very old. And you took
Maybe he didn't have his Werther's originals.
You
before
took
the
your
game.
hats off last week to the halves pairing.
Oh,
Liam.
I did, and this pains me to say. I think the
Not even
weakness.
Jackson with the try score.
Well, yeah, no, there was a wonderful try. Don't get me wrong. I don't say he was terrible at everything he did, but I think the weaknesses that we saw from the Knights halves pairing in this game just gone was somewhat masked in the game previous because of the rain and the weather and the marathon monsoon. Because what was so important that week was the short kicking game. It was the pinned point accurate kicking game.
Game plan. Yeah.
But what was kind of nullified by the weather and by the conditions was the Knights' lack of a long kicking game.
Yeah.
Neither Jackson Hastings nor Jack Cogger.
Have a big
Two
boot.
Jacks, I just realised that. Two Jacks.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
To an extent. Neither of them have a particularly large boot. And you
No.
see Kalen Ponga taking a fair bit of the kicking in general play.
Couple of size 8s over there.
Couple of just a couple of size 8s. Can't get
Slightly
any
below
can't get any
average.
welly behind the ball. So that was a bit concerning, especially when you saw where the Roosters were starting a lot of their sets on the 25 metres out, 30 metres out, 35 metres out, etc. You just can't win a game effectively when you're not punting it down into the corner as hard as you friggin' can, having them approach the Newcastle Knights defence from their goal line.
Ponga does a lot of the kicking too, but of course with the hip pointer injury,
That's a bad
it
one
was
too. That
it
hurts.
Yeah. We look backwards or forwards or backwards. Twirling, always twirling. We got the game against the Bulldogs.
Yes.
This week
Oh,
on
this is a
Sunday.
danger game. It's a danger game.
2 o'clock. Imagine if my voice was like this the entire time. It's a game that brings back good memories for quite a
fantastic
the
memory.
66-0 I had on my phone as a screensaver with the score, and it was wonderful for so long because I was.
Well, that's it. If we do some quick maths, over 2 games last year, we beat them 108 points to 6.
Yeah,
That's a lot of points compared to not many points.
Now, on aggregate, if we bring that score into this year, they need to win by 103. So we should be pretty safe for the 2 points.
That's some good mathematics. There you go.
Yeah.
But look, if you look at this Canterbury team list,
Yes.
it seems like a team list that's been picked by kind of throwing darts at a board with a couple of players. There's a few in there who are set in a position, and you're like, well, Bronson Jerry, where's he come from? He's been in the doldrums for 4 years because of drug cheating.
Drugs.
Samuel Hughes and Chris Patolo, they're made up names.
Yes.
Someone's just gone on Rugby League Live on PlayStation, just said to, random player generator, you've come out with Chris Patolo.
There's also a random name generator would be Toby Sexton. Blake
He's not even playing.
He's on the extended. The forwards, the front rowers there look a bit. The bench looks a bit sort of. I've never heard of them before. Besides Blake Taff, and he's been replaced with Connor Tracy, despite not having a bad game. Besides getting concussed, apparently if you get concussed, you'd be benched. you're sitting on the pine.
Sitting on the bottom. Well, don't get hit in the head like a coward.
But a couple of the players there, if we scooch back to Reid Marnie as well as Matt Burton, Stephen Crichton, even Jacob Carraz, if you want to be, we want to have the nightmares of Christmas past.
Yep.
And there's someone else.
I worry about the left edge, Naggy.
Yep.
Left edge. They've got Bill Kickow, who's in sparkling form.
Yeah.
He's just murdering people from week to week.
29 years old.
Really?
Yeah, I thought he was younger.
There you go.
Yeah.
See, we love, and we were talking about this last week while you were going, Naggy. We love violent assaults in rugby league.
Yes.
I hope he doesn't violently assault any of the Knights players.
I hope not.
But that left edge worries me, Naggy.
Maybe if he makes
Kickow,
that break.
Crichton, Addo-Carr.
Yeah.
That's a powerful left edge. All representative players, very good players.
If Ponga is the last man before Kickow on the line,
Run away.
Maybe Ponga just concede that one.
You know what? Pull the Lockie Miller trick. Just
that?
run behind the dead ball.
Run behind the dead line.
Run
So
behind
there
the
it
dead
is.
ball.
Yeah, easy.
Just say, what's it, 10 metres out, Bill? Yep, it's all yours, buddy.
I'd be willing to sacrifice a try if it meant that Kalen Ponga doesn't, knock the brain out of his skull.
Yeah. But I think if we look to the team list that, the random player generated prop forwards, I think that's where the Knights win. We have 3 representative prop forwards in that main rotation. Leo Thompson, who's been superb since he came back. I feel like he's lighting a fire under the bums of the Safidis, which I think they needed. We discussed. You've been critical of the Safidis with good reason.
Yes, possibly. It might be a time to have a sit-down chat about Daniel.
Yeah. No, just showing videos of Leo. So I think, and we said this last week as well about the front row rotation. They did an okay job. Daniel did his classic, lazy marker defence to let in a try.
Yes.
That was bad.
That's not great.
No.
But things to avoid as far as I think that's where we've got to win the game is with if we can out forwards them because we actually have props that exist.
Yes.
And that aren't generated by AI. As far as we know, there might have been a glitch and they made 2 Safidis. But
that's how it happened. It was like that trick, in Game Boy when you both wanted the same Pokemon.
Yeah.
Then
you
do
the cord.
Do the cable. You make the trade and then you pull it out halfway.
Simpler.
Is that how the Safidis came to be?
Simpler time. Yeah. And Jacobson got extra XP points. So it's as far as another bold prediction, Liam. Where we might lose this game, I think, if we let Josh Addo-Carr get any space because our wingers are quite slow and he's quite quick.
Yes.
As well as Kickow, as we mentioned before, and Matt Burton with the massive boot because he's got a big boot, and we've just said we got 2 small boots over 2 men representing half of their legs. And
I hope Greg the Bus and Anari don't have a night like Dresden did in 1944, just with bombs raining
down onto them.
My lord, that'll be ugly.
Where was
Greg the Bus, not known for his catching.
No, and Anari's been quite good, but
he's been great.
He's been good.
I've been very pleased with Anari.
Yeah,
I think he's proven himself to be a very capable first-grade rugby league player.
And if we look at the extended bench, we see that David Armstrong has also been named in 2022, which makes you think that Kalen Ponga might be under an injury cloud. I personally wouldn't mind seeing David Armstrong on the wing. I don't want to get rid of Anari because I think he's throwing his guts out, but at the same time, I think we might need a little bit of a spark. I know David Armstrong's only 61 kilos. It might not be up to sort of NRL standards as far as your bustling winger these days. But
if you want to see David Armstrong on the wing, who do you want to see at fullback if no KP? Fletcher Sharp. Do it, Adam O'Brien, you madman. Put Fletcher Sharp in.
And also...
he's tiny.
No, the fellow, the other UK fellow that we brought over.
Will Price. Defence needs work.
Not named.
He's not been great in reserve grade defensively, but, do it.
Yeah.
Put Bradman Best to fullback.
Finally, a comment to make while we think we might be in a winning position because we're playing at 2 o'clock. The sun's still up.
Yep.
And if we look at our wins over the last daytime nights, which is not often the time you see the nights.
No, it isn't. But we're very good at it.
Well, we're literally named the Knights, which is a nighttime sort of related thing, but this is the daytime Knights, oxymoron. But we've only lost 1-2 games of all of last season playing in the daytime. 1 to Cronulla, and 1 to... was it City Roosters, I imagine? That's right.
Yeah, City Roosters. Yeah.
So, but all the other times we played the daytime, including round 22, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the qualifier, was all during the day, all wins. Hey, all we have to do is play in the daytime. Maybe,
It's that easy.
Can we turn up the lights of the stadium?
Oh,
maybe?
that's a great idea.
We make it feel like it's the daytime when really it's the night.
Well, you can do what you used to do at footy training. You just get a bunch of people to park their cars on the side and put the headlights
on. It's the same thing as when you've got a bird and you're like, I want to go to bed, so you put a blanket over it and it goes to sleep. We do the opposite of it. We put them a lot of lights on and they think it's the daytime. They play great.
I've never had a pet bird. Oh, no, I did have a pet bird, but we never did that.
No, I can't do it. I'm allergic. But there's I go around other people's houses and there's towels over and I'm assuming that's what they're doing. Maybe the bird has died. I don't know. I don't ask questions. Then we can go on and on and on, but I think we've covered a lot coming into next week. Very important week. It could be our real season
defining moment. Yes.
Because I think this could be a defining moment for the Dogs. If they beat us, the Dogs start going, hey, we're doing all right. If we win, hey, we might still be in this. Don't really know. We're both at the bottom of the ladder, but it's going to be interesting. It's got an Aircall Stadium, but it's not the Wickham Park Hotel. It's where you should be watching the game. It's much better. The Wickham Park.
Wonderful pub. It's a wonderful venue. I'll be at work, unfortunately, Joust, as I'm terribly sorry. My work availabilities, I've done it all wrong.
Perfectly time for you to go to the Wickham Park Hotel, buy some lunch, and then think, oh, that lunch was fantastic. Cold beer in hand, looking up at the television. What do you know? The Knights are playing. But if you've skipped that game or you've watched it and you think you want to talk about it a bit more, you can find us all on these social pipes. Liam, what are the pipes?
The pipes. Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Spotify, TikTok.
Apple Tunes,
SoundCloud.
Yeah.
One day I'll get the Twitter going again.
One day.
But it won't be today.
We'll catch you all next week, Justice. Thank you very much for sticking around. And hopefully we're talking about the Knights' third win of the season. We look forward to it. We'll see you then.